1, 2, 3, 4. Killing spree. Bomberman does whatever a bomber can. Chances are, if you ever ask anyone about Bomberman on the N64, they'll probably refer you to Bomberman 64, naturally. But aside from Bomberman 64 and its official sequel, Bomberman 64 The Second Attack, there was also another Bomberman game on the 64 entirely, Bomberman Hero. The game starts out with a pretty cool intro screen. It's not a masterpiece like the one in Duke Nukem 0 Hour, but it's still pretty awesome. It's a little cheesy, but that's normal for games like this. So the game gives you 4 files and you don't need a memory card. Now that's good, but what's weird is that there's no multiplayer option. Now you might be thinking, oh, it's a Bomberman game, there's gotta be multiplayer. But no, there is none. This game, you play alone and you die alone. That's it. Maybe that's a little harsh. So the story of this game is that some princess named Million is abducted and Bomberman must come to her rescue. Nothing too fancy here. So when you select the first level for the first time, it takes you to this training area where you can learn the basics of the game. But the game allows you to just skip it and walk right through the door, which is pretty cool. I hate it when games force the tutorial on you. Then you get a fairly minimalistic cutscene and then you're in the first level. Now you'll realize that this is much unlike traditional Bomberman games. Instead of a top-down perspective, you get a view from a level angle. Also, it's a platformer, not just a puzzle game. You'll find that you can do a lot more with the bombs than in a regular Bomberman game where you can only drop them on the spot. You can throw the bombs, you can kick them, you can throw 4 at a time. It's a real big step up from the predecessors. That may not be saying much, but I believe in giving credit where it's due. So yeah, this is pretty much most of the game. Running around, blowing up enemies, and collecting shiny things. There are a number of special levels that shake it up a little though. Example, there are a number of levels in which Bomberman gets a propeller attachment which allows him to swim, which means there are water levels. Now if you know me, you probably know that I have a really bad history with water levels, so naturally I hate these parts. Luckily for the game, however, it's able to redeem itself with these awesome jet sequences. Like Falco says,
I'll take the sky any day.
okay, so it's fun enough, but how are the graphics? Well, it's obvious that they were going for a cartoony aesthetic, and I think they did pretty well. Other than that, there really isn't that much to say. They're nothing special, but for the kind of game it is, they really don't need to be. Good thing too, because this game was released the same year as Banjo-Kazooie, which is leagues better than this game in terms of graphics and everything else. But either way, the graphics are good enough. How's the sound department? Well, that's where I'm not genuinely impressed. A number of the sounds are a bit fuzzy and low quality, even for a 64 game, and the only real voice acting happens whenever Bomberman gets hurt. As for the soundtrack, many of the songs are cool, but they're very short, which means by the time you finish the level, they'll have looped several times, probably enough times to drive you nuts and make you sick of them. The sound department in general is not that impressive. It's not horrible, but it's not great either. But that's Bomberman Hero. The gameplay is fun, the controls are fine, the graphics are decent, and the music, though repetitive, is nice enough. If you haven't played this game before, I recommend giving it a try. So that about wraps up this review, so feel free to like, dislike, comment, and or subscribe as you please, and I'll see you later.